today's beautiful subject, this is a conversation between Nārada and Vyāsadeva. So the spiritual master and the disciple. So, there is initial things, this Vyāsadeva inquiring. Today's beautiful subject, so today is Vyāsadeva, starting with the Vyāsadeva inquiry. So what happened, the last things in the last session, we have learned that how the Nārada Muni explaining the Vyāsadeva, where is the mystic, where is your despondency, where is your dissatisfaction. So Nārada Muni pointed out that your despondency is that because you have not directly broadcasted the message of Supreme Personality of Godhead. That's why you are very despondent. So we should do that, because all other words, all other literature, you have given overemphasized to the so 4 Purusharthas. That is, Purusharthas means there is 4 dharma, artha, kama, moksha. But you have not given emphasis to bhakti, transcendental activities of the Lord. Therefore, you were despondent. If a speaker is despondent, if the author is despondent, what about the readers? So then Nārada Muni giving an impression that so anything which is no description of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, that is Vyāsam Tirtha. It is not for it is a pilgrimage for the pros, not for the swan. That means not for the devotees. Devotees are very much interested wherever the further inquiring, because last in the last session, Nārada Muni also speaking about his own life. He's teaching as an acharya, he's teaching personal example how he associated with the great sages, the Bhakti Vedantist, and from them he took the remnant of the food, taking permission once, and in this way he get purifications, and he started hearing from them. After hearing them, then he got these transcendental symptoms. So in this way, he got this, Krishna consciousness knowledge. So Vyāsadeva further inquiring to him, what happened when the Bhakti Vedantist left you? What is the process? Because you have taken the prasadam, remnant of the food, remnant of prasadam from the Bhakti Vedantist. You have heard the knowledge from them. So after the Bhakti Vedantist left that, then what is going to happen? What you did it? So in this way, this question further inquiring. In his further inquiring, he's asking question that this is very important thing Prabhupada has written, that Vyāsadeva was further inquisitive to know about the perfection of Nāradaji. Therefore, he wanted to know about him more and more. In this chapter, Nāradaji will describe how he was able to have a brief audience with Lord while he was absorbed in the transcendental thought of separation from the Lord, and when it was very painful for him. So the 4 inquiry is that, what did you do after Bhakti Vedanta departure? So here, the Sutta Goswami is explaining to the, O Brahmanas, thus hearing all about Nārada's birth, activities, Vyāsadeva, the incarnation of the God, the son of Satyavati, inquired as follows. Vyāsadeva said, what did you, Nārada, do after the departure of the great sage who had instructed you the scientific transcendental knowledge before beginning of your present birth? So in the previous birth, he was born into a maid servant. So, but somehow or another, he got in contact with the Bhakti Vedantists, the pure devotees of the Lord, during Chaturmasa, where rainy season is there, rainy and autumn. So during that period, somehow he come in contact, and he took that, what is that called, remnant of the food. As I have already told you in the last session, that 3 things is very powerful of a pure devotee. What are the 3 things? Bhakta pada jal, bhakta pada duli, bhakta bhukta avasesa, ehi tina bol. There are 3 things very important whenever you go to the approach to AA. So what is the 3 things? Bhakta pada dhuli, the dust of the lotus feet of the Lord. That is very important. And bhakta pada jal, the water that was the lotus feet of the great devotees. That is also very important. Bhakta bhukta avasesa means prasadam. The prasadam left by them, it also has got a potency. Once we take the remnant of the prasadam, we also imbibe their qualities. We purify all the contamination in the heart. And Nārada Muni fortunately, providentially, he was fortunate enough to take the prasadam, Bhakta Bhuta Vasesa. And also, he heard the transcendental knowledge. So Prabhupada said that initiation begins the time we hear from our spiritual master. That is the real initiation, not that formal initiation, into yajna and all these formalities. No, the moment one hears from the spiritual master, bona fide spiritual master, then that time the initiation, real purpose of initiation. Diksha means is Divyagana, Khepyanti. Diksha, Divyagana Khepyanti means who injected the transcendental knowledge. That is called Diksha, the process of injecting the Divyagana transcendental knowledge. Therefore, actual meaning of Diksha means the process of Diksha begins when you hear. So after hearing that, then here Vyāsadeva is asking you, you have heard the scientific transcendental knowledge. So what did you do after the departure? Because after 4 months they went, these Bhakti Vedantists are Parivarjaka Acharya. Parivarjaka Acharya means they go one place to another place, enlighten people. So they left actually. They do not stay in their one places. They just move around to preach. So Vyāsadeva was also disciple. So it was a natural anxious to hear. Because what? Because he also has to follow now. Because his spiritual master, how he did, how he got this perfection. Just like, you want to pass the examinations.
I'm in a lecture right now. 1 hour I'll be very busy. 1.5 hours. 1.5 hours.
So what happened? That just like you have to pass examination, you go to a student who already passed the examination. So he will teach you. We are always anxious to know about him, how he got through the examination, so that we will follow them. Vyāsadeva also very anxious to ask Nārada Muni, how did you attain that perfection? You become Nārada Muni from maid servant. What is the process? Because everybody wants to know that. Everybody wants to be like a great devotee of the Lord. So Nārada Muni is teaching us by perfect example, personal example. Achara means conduct in behavior, personal behavior. Those who teaches by, they are called Acharya. The word Acharya coming from Achara. Acharya means conduct, behavior. So therefore the Vyāsadeva is very anxious. In this beautiful note, there is a very important instruction of our Goswami. What is that? Rupa Goswami. We are called Rupanuga. So he taught us a very important lesson, that why we should inquiry. You should not accept the spiritual master just blindly like this, but one should inquiry about that how he got through all the things. So in this regard, there is a very good, nice verses spoken in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu by our Rupa Goswami to teach us that how we should conduct. So Rupa Goswami say here, Guru Padasraya, Diksha, Guru Sevana, Sadharma Sikkha Pricha, Sadhu Marga Anugamana. On the path of regulative devotional service, one must observe. Regulative devotional service means sadhana bhakti. In the beginning, we do the sadhana bhakti practice. Regulative devotional, one must observe the following item. One must accept a bona fide spiritual master. That is the most. Tad vijnanaratham sa eva guru abhigachet. Eva abhigachet means one must, there is no question of option. I will do later, I will do, and why I need it? No. It has to be. One must accept a bona fide spiritual master. And one must accept initiation from him. Initiation means receive the transcendental knowledge. One must receive the transcendental knowledge from him. And one must serve him. Same thing Bhagavad Gita Krishna says, Tadvidi pranipatena paripresena sevaya. One must receive instruction from spiritual master, make inquiries in order to learn devotional service. That is called Sadharma Pricha, Siksha Pricha. Inquiring. Without inquiring from the master, we cannot advance in Krishna consciousness. We have doubts, so we have to inquire what is this, what is that. And one must follow the footstep of previous Acharya and follow the direction given by the spiritual master. So this is the best chapter to learn that how The Acharya is teaching us by example, Nārada Muni. And Vyāsadeva, such a great personality, he is also anxious to know what is the process that you attend from a maid servant, son of maid servant, to become a Nārada Muni, such an exalted devotee of the Lord. So this is the process actually. This is a very important. One must know that. Prabhupada always quoted this Sad Pricha. So then again he is asking that what is the life, how did you pass your life after initiation? How did you attain this body, having quit your old one due course of time? And see, Nārada Muni, what happened and great says time annihilates everything in due course of time. How is it that the subject matter which happened prior to this day of Brahma is still fresh in your memory, undisturbed by time? How it is possible you still remember all the thing your past time? We don't remember. I mean, normal people do not remember. How you have remembered? So to answer these questions, Nārada Muni is answering one by question everything. So here it is said that how did you remember? Because spirit is not annihilated. Na hanyate hanyamane sarira. So spiritual consciousness also is not annihilated. So Nārada Muni developed that the very lofty spiritual consciousness, even in this material body also. Even in this material body, one can also have that developed spiritual consciousness. So therefore he remembers. It is stated in this Srimad Bhagavatam that in this body also we can have perfection of everything. So yes, Rupa Goswami, when he Prayag, he instructed Rupa Goswami, empowering. So Rupa Goswami understood all the things. Then Prabhupada is quoting that even Rupa Goswami in this body, Iha dasya hare dasa karmana manasa gira, nakhilasya api avastau jivan mukha. A person acting in the service of Krishna with his body, mind, words is a liberated person, even in the material world, although he may be engaged in many so-called material activity. So one can develop the spiritual consciousness even through the medium of the material body. And he is also liberated, just like Prabhupada. Prabhupada is a material body, but actually Prabhupada has no material body, although he is seemingly, but he is a liberated person. He is a liberated person because he is always engaged in that. So to answer this, all the question, Nārada Muni says that the great sage who had imparted scientific knowledge of transcendence to me departed for other places. I had to pass my life in this way. And I was the only son of my mother, who was not only a simple woman, but a maid servant as well. Since I was her only offspring, she had no other alternative for protection. She bound me with tie of affection. So after hearing that, he could not go anywhere, because he is a son of only son of his mother, who is a maid servant. So he was bound by the affection, who could not, maintain me properly. She wanted to look after my maintenance properly, but because she was not independent, she could not able to do anything. So he could not, I was totally dependent on mother affection. She could not maintain me properly. And when I was mere child of 5 years, I lived in a Brahmana school. I was dependent on my mother's affection. I had no experience of different lands. So he was there particularly he was there with mother. Once upon a time, my poor mother, when going out tonight to milk a cow, was bitten on the leg by a serpent, influenced by supreme time. So I took this as a special mercy of the Lord, who always desired benediction of his devotee, and thinking I started the knot. So this is very important thing, because in this previous life, when Nārada Muni was impregnated with spiritual knowledge by the grace of great sage, and so there is a tangible change of life. Tangible change of life happen. That is the process. Whenever you initiated by the spiritual master, you will feel that these changes in your spiritual realizations, not your material prosperity and all, but changes in our spiritual realization. It acts actually. This is the science. Prabhupada said this is science. So here is described that what is the changes. His mother was killed by the serpent. And he took it as a mercy of the Krishna, and he was now complete. Previously, he was dependent because a 5-year child, he was completely dependent on mothers, and he was only son of his mother, who is a maid servant. Now he is completely dependent on the Lord. So that is important things to learn. Sometimes Prabhupada, the neophyte levels, the problem, danger in neophyte level. If some problem is coming, they will immediately shake up. They will immediately will be, deviated from Krishna consciousness. They will immediately lose the faith. Why it happened? But those who are advanced in knowledge, they know this is the blessing in disguise. It is not a stumbling block, rather a stepping stone to our spiritual advancement. Just like there's so many cases in this regard, that there's so many problems they are getting, just like Pandavas, they underwent so many tribulation, trials, but they did not give up. Rather, they thought that it is blessing in disguise. Therefore, Kunti Devi is praying very nicely. Vipada santusta saptam tatra tatra jagat guru. Tatra tatra jagat guru. Punar, what is that? Bhavat darsanam yassad punar bhava darsanam. Say beautiful verses. Vipada santusta saswat tatra tatra jagat guru bhavat darsanam yassad punar bhava darsanam. I wish all those calamity would happen again and again, so that we could see you again and again. For seeing you means we will no longer see repeated birth and death. So that is what, that because when you are in a distressed condition, when you are in a very adverse situation of life, then we will turn back to Krishna. We will intensify our bhakti. Therefore, Nārada Muni, those who are very advanced devotee, realized devotee, they know that it is a blessing in disguise. Even Prabhupada was telling, I was always thinking that when I will have money, then I will serve the all Krishna. I will start my all Krishna consciousness, spreading everywhere in the world, go to America like this. But Krishna made it different. Krishna, he told, like he was giving his realization, that Krishna took everything, so that I solely depends on them. Everybody thinking that if when my circumstances will change, I will do very nice service. Actually, that is other way around. Krishna is putting in such a circumstances to change us. We are praying, Krishna, please change my circumstances. But we do not know Krishna has deliberately put these circumstances so that we can change. We can change ourselves, to intensify our bhakti. So Prabhupada telling it is a blessing. I could not understand in the beginning, but I found that what a wonderful mercy of the Lord. He wanted me to go to America to preach, to establish this Krishna consciousness. Therefore, Krishna also says that Harisya Vachanam, Harisya, what is that? Dhanam, that is Dhanam. That whomsoever I am merciful, I takes away all his honor, all his wealth. Jasyam Sri Bhagavan Uvacha Jasyam Anugrihami Harisya Tadadhanam Sanya Tato Dhanam Tajjantyasya Sojana Dukkha Dukkhitam. The personality of Godhead say, if I specially favor someone, I gradually deprive him of his wealth. Then the relatives, friend of such poverty-stricken men abandon him. In this way, he suffers one distress after another. Why Krishna is doing? Because to intensify, giving his mercy. Sometimes devotee, they say that, Prabhu, please come to our house. Why? No, I bought the second car by Krishna mercy. So the car puja is there. So Krishna mercy means he will take away your first car. And why you are giving you the second car? So if Krishna give you mercy, he will take away the first car itself. So it's not Krishna mercy. Prabhupada says that material opulence means fever. It's a material fever, increasing material fever. That means you are more and more entangled. Therefore, Kunti Devi is very nicely speaking. Tvam akinchana gocharam. You are approached by those who are akinchana. These beautiful verses. 1:8-26, I think. He is telling that Janma Ishara Suta Srivi. The beautiful verses by Kunti Devi. Janma Ishara Suta Srivi. Edhamana Madha Puman Naiva Arthe Naiva
Naivarthi avidhatum bhaitvam akinchana gocharam. My Lord, your Lordship can easily be approached, but only by those who are materially exhausted, not that who are materially very opulence, elevated position. Because one who is on the path of material progress, trying to improve himself with respectable parentage, great opulence, high education, bodily beauty, cannot address you with sincere feeling. See? So this is the blessing in disguise. We sometimes misunderstood why Krishna you put in such a condition. It is a stumbling block for my advancement. I want to advance. But why you are giving me so many things, so many stuff? Actually, Krishna is giving this so that we can change. We can more intensify. It is rather a stepping stone, not a stumbling block. So here also Narada Muni is telling this is the mercy. I took this as a special mercy of the Lord, who is always desires benediction for his devotees. So thinking I started, Lord is always desired for the liberate. He always
want the people to go back. I mean, all the living entity. There's a beautiful verses in this regard that
he spoke to Uddhava. Yoga
Maya Prokta Ninnam Shreya
Vidis Yanam Karma Cha Bhakti Shonopaya Anyasti Kutrachit. The Supreme Personality of God say, my dear Uddhava, because I desire that human being may achieve perfection. See, Lord always desire that human being achieve perfection means go back to Godhead. I
did three paths of advancement: the path of knowledge, jnana yoga; the path of work, karma yoga; the path of devotion, bhakti yoga. Beside this, there is absolutely no other means of elevations. Try to understand this one, not only for this chapter perspective. There is no other way you can approach. No other way. There is three way of approach because Lord wanted. Initially, of course, karma yoga, then we advance little, you go. In this way, finally, you have to come to the bhakti yoga. Everything has to culminate to bhakti. So Lord wanted us. So here also Narada Muni is speaking the same thing, that this is always desire benediction for his own devotees. Lord wants the own devotee to get back to us. Is very favorable to devotees. Although Krishna says that Name Deshunaye, although I have I am neutral, I have no such inclination for the devotee or those who are non-devotee, but I am a little inclined to my devotee. This is Prabhupada has said these verses in 929. These are beautiful verses. Samaham
Sarvabhu
anyone, but I'm equal to all. But whoever renders to
tender service devotion is a friend, is in me. I am also a friend. See, Lord say I am neutral. Je jatha parpanjante tang pratevam vadami. But special favor to a devotee because they are rendering service to me. Just like Prabhupada used to give an example on this particular verse, just like a charitable man. He is very charitably giving everybody children, everybody is giving so many gift and donation to others. But for his own child, he has a special inclination. Although he is charitable, he looking everybody, every children or everybody same. But for his own child, he has a special attention. So Lord here also say, although I am neutral, but for those who are rendering devotional service, I am more attentive. Just like a father is more attentive to an obedient son. So here it is same thing. So then Narada Muni says that great sage who had after my departure, I passed through many flourishing metropolis, town, villages, animal farms, mines, agricultural land, valleys, flower garden, nursery garden, natural park. So after the departure, he left home. Narada Muni left home and traveled to varieties of so many things. So this here you can understand that those days also there is metropolis, not that it is a cave base. They say that those days are very cave, millions of before also there is same kind of town, metropolis, villages, farms, mines, agricultural land, valleys, flower garden. Now also same thing. It's not that now we have so much advance. Same activities. It is there no change actually. Same activities also there. So Narada Muni, he did not waste a time. As soon as his mother died, he did not try for economic development. No, he immediately went for the different forest, continuing progressive spiritual for the progressive spiritual emancipation or advancement, and he left the house. He left the house. I passed through hills, mountains, reservoir of various mineral, gold, silver, copper, etc., and decorated. So he passed so many things. Then I passed along through many forest process, bamboo, sharp grass, weeds, caves, which are very difficult to go through alone. I visit deep, dark, dangerously fearful forest, which were play yards of snakes, owls, and jackals. So this is what I call sannyasa parivarjaka acharya. The parivarjaka acharya, sannyasa means not simply change of dress. So today I am white dress, tomorrow I will have an orange dress, I become sannyasi. No. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did not accept this name of sannyasi also. Where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu accepted the name of Chaitanya? He did not accept. But in this age of Kali, we cannot, we do not change the formalness. No need of all the thing formality. Simply processes, or even we cannot go through different places. That is not also possible nowadays. So only one thing, wherever you are, you simply hear and chant the glories of the Lord. That is recommended for everybody, even sannyas also. Sit down one holy places like Vrindavan, Mayapur, etc. And you hear and repeatedly chant the holy scripture led by great Acharya, just like Sis Goswami were doing. But sannyasi duty is to parivarjaka. They go from one place to another places. Not for this, no, begging, actually to enlighten the household. There's a beautiful verses spoken by who? Spoken by these
two.
Yeah, verse. See, Nanda Maharaj naming ceremony. During naming ceremony, very nice verses. He spoke to the Gargamuni. Madhavichalanam ninnam grihinam dinachetasam nishrayasya bhagavana kalpate nanyatha kochit. Oh my Lord, oh great devotee, person like you move from one place to another, not for their own interest, but for the sake of poor-hearted grihastha householder. Otherwise, they have no interest in going from one place to another. Why they should go unnecessary exertion? Only going because the householder so much tate sucha vimukta chetasa. Indriya, what is that? Indriyarthe maya sukha bharan udbahan. So Prahlad Maharaj say, I am not concerned about going back to, I am not bothered that I am going back to Vaikuntha or not. But my main concern is that these people, this grahastha, maya sukham bharam, simply for illusory happiness, they are wasting their time. They are entangled here, they are suffering. I am concerned about them, my Lord. Narasimhadev. So this is what the mentality of the year. So Nārada Muni also saying that once you get a sannyasi or you left home, you should not be like this. But in Kali Yuga, Prabhupada recommended that you go to a forest because nowadays moving also is not easy. You have a visa, you have this, that, you cannot move outside the country. So many formalities to be maintained. Also inside also very, very difficult. Even forest and all nowadays not so safe also. So better to live in a places, holy places, and chant and glorify the Lord. That's all. Finish. Make your life perfect. So in this way, thus traveling, I felt tired, both bodily, mentally. Thus I was both thirsty, hungry. So I took bath in a river lake and also drank water. By contacting the water, I got relief from my exhaustion. So this is like a traveling mendicant. So, so this is the idea of there. Although they undertook so much trial, tribulation to traveling, only just like Prabhupada. How Prabhupada took so much trial and tribulations. He, at the age of 69 years, he went in a freighter, a passenger ship, 38 or 39 days like this, to go to America. Underwent 2 heart attacks. Why all kind of trials and tribulation? Only to enlighten the Grahastha. So American, the headquarter of all Grahastha, Maya, full of Maya. So headquarter of Maya. He wanted to go there and to preach them, elevate them, spiritually elevate them. That is whole idea. How Prabhupada is taking that kind of determination. That is the example Acharya giving, Nārada Muni giving, Srila Prabhupada also giving. All this exemplary example is that how a devotees, advanced devotee, you should renounce everything and go and preach. After that, under the shadow of a banyan tree in an uninhabited forest, I began to meditate upon the super soul situated within, using my intelligence. And I had learned from liberated soul. Very important. Learn from liberated soul. So we cannot manufacture the thing. We cannot understand our. There is no question of understand. We have to learn whatever we have learned from the liberated soul. That only we should follow. Therefore, one should not do anything whimsically. Krishna says that very beautiful verses. This is 21 to 2. Yeah. The very important Chaitanya Mahaprabhu spoke this one to Sanatana Goswami. Maya Mugdha Jivera Nai Swartha Krishna Jnana Jivera Kripaya Kaila Krishna Veda Purana. The conditioned soul cannot revive his Krishna consciousness by his own effort. There is no possible. Alone, I wanted to study, I wanted to sodhaya, I wanted to elevate myself. This is not impossible. But out of causeless mercy, Lord Krishna compiled this Vedic literature and they supplement the Puranas. So all these scriptures compiled because of out of causeless mercy, Krishna only did it. So therefore, what we should do? Shastra Guru Atma Rupe Apana Rajana Janana Krishna Moro Prabhutrata Dibero Hoe Jnana. The forgetful conditioned soul is educated by Krishna through Vedic literature, the realized spiritual master and the super soul. Three people. Who are the three people? That Sadhu, Shastra, Guru. Through this, he can understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead in his eternal master. It is eternal master, deliverer from the clutches of Maya. In this way, one can acquire real knowledge of his conditioned life, can come to understand how to attain liberation. See, that is the process. We cannot do our own. We need the devotee. Madhava, what is that? Prayena bhakti yogena madhavaktim vina uddhava. Uddhava, you cannot attain me without association of devotee. The beautiful verses. Everybody should know this verse. Is spoken by the Lord himself, and how important is devotee association. Prayena bhakti yogena satsangena vina uddhava. Na poya vidyate samyak prayanam hi satam aham. My dear Uddhava, I am personally the ultimate shelter and way of life for saintly liberated person. And thus, if one does not engage in my loving devotional service, which is made possible by associating with my devotee, see, very important. Which is my loving devotional service is very important, which is made possible by association of devotee. Then for all practical purposes, one possesses no effective means for escaping material existence. That means the devotee association is indispensable, imperative, inevitable. One must have an association of devotee. Therefore, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Sadhu Sangha, Sarva Shastra Kahe, Lava Matra Sadhu Sangha, Sarva Siddhi Kahe. Here also Nārada Muni, little bit of association with great devotees. Now he is learnt everything. Now he is meditating the form of the Lord within Super Soul. According to the spiritual master, according to the bona fide spiritual master, according to the liberated soul, Sadhu Shastra Guru. We cannot do whimsically. I want. Bhakti cannot be done as you wish. You cannot take medicine as you wish, but according to the prescription by doctor. Similarly, bhakti can be executed according to the what Krishna wants, what the devotees wants. What Krishna wants known by the devotee, the acharyas. Therefore, Rupa Goswami said that Sarva, what is that verse? Anya vilasita sunyam jnana karma dhyanarvikram anukulyana Krishna anusilanam. Krishna anusilanam. You should cultivate Krishna consciousness. Anu means following. Following this silanam means whatever Krishna say, what the cultivation. It's a cultivation. It has to be cultivated according to Krishna Anusila, according to Krishna. Means according to the devotees, representative, because representative only knows what Krishna wants. That is important. Many people, they say, I will do as I wish. No, it has to be. Every our statement, every our action has to be guided and substantiated by the Sadhu Shastra Guru. Ye Shastra Vidyushya Bhartate Kama Karta. Krishna said those who are discarding all the things, they cannot. Rather, Utpaideva Kalpate. Rupa Goswami said that if you do not follow all their Aikantika Harer Bhakti, Utpaideva Kalpate. Means it's a disturbance to the society. There are so many gurus are sprouting up. They are speaking all whimsically, so creating disturbances in society. Nobody become enlightened properly, perfectly, accurately. They create disturbances because they do not follow the method, bona fide method. That is very important. Even devotee also in their personal Krishna consciousness sadhana, they must follow the Prabhupada. If they do not understand, they must consult with the senior devotees how to follow. Senior devotee who is following the Prabhupada instruction. Then we can guide it, properly guided. Then after that, as soon as I began to meditate upon the lotus feet of the personality of Godhead, with my mind transformed in the transcendental law, tears rolled down my eyes, and without delay, the personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, appeared on the lotus of my heart. See, Dhayantam charanar bhojam bhava nirjita chetasa Atakanthasru Kalakheya Hudaya Asin Mishane Hari. So how the Krishna immediately appear in the, as soon as we begin to meditate upon the lotus feet, Lord appears. Krishna say that Sribanti Grayanti, whosoever meditating, hearing, then I immediately, Saddha Hudesu, immediately Krishna will appear. There is a very nice verses in this regard. Sinbantam sadhaya nityam grinantasya chestitam kalena nati digrena bhagavana visate hidi. Person who hears Srimad Bhagavatam regularly are always taking the matter very seriously, will have the personality of God as Sri Krishna manifested in their heart.
Exact verses fitting for Nārada Muni. He has heard from this liberated sage, Bhakti Vedantist. After hearing that,
Hare Krishna Prabhu, we can't hear anything.
hello, you can hear now? Yeah.
Yes,
Yes,
Prabhu.
Yeah, yes. So what happened? Yeah, there's some loose connection. Tomorrow I have to buy a cable. So what happened? This is called Bhava stage. In Bhava stage, this kind of ecstasy, when Lord comes in front of you, like Prahlad Maharaj, how he is thinking, oh, Lord, personal appearance in the heart. Of course, here Lord is appearing in the heart, on the lotus of my heart. Hridaya asin me sanai hari. There are Lord manifested as a super soul in the heart. So he is appearing in the heart when meditating. And another thing is personal view, just like Dhruva Maharaj and Prahlad Maharaj. There is no difference whether super soul and personal you see face to face. So, but the stages is very, very bhavo stage it is. Bhava stage happened not this immediately. No, therefore, this Rupa Goswami has said that this stage will not come immediately. I meditate or I chant, I hear. No, it takes little time. Why it's not coming? So it takes little time because the process is there here. Rupa Goswami has given this adau sraddha tatha sadhu sanga tha bhajana kriya tatha anartha nivritta tatha nishta ruchi tatha athasakti tatha bhavas. So initially is adau sraddha means faith, little faith. Faith is very fragile in the beginning. Then sadhu sanga, hearing, bhajana kriya, initiation. Tatha anartha nivritta, one you initiated and following the instruction of spiritual master, your all unwanted habit will be diminished. Tatha nishta means fixed up. Then you fixed up. You no more when deviating, oscillating. Sometimes good, sometimes no oscillation. After that, you develop a ruchi taste. Once you develop a taste, then there is attachment. Up to the stage of ruchi, this is sadhana bhakti. Sadhana bhakti has initially there is no ruchi taste. When you do proper sadhana bhakti, then asakti, when it comes to asakti, then it is attachment. When attachment become more deep, then the bhava, the emotion. Emotion means there is symptoms of emotion. These are the symptoms. The 8 kind of symptoms is there. Then this is called precondition. Bhava is a precondition of prema, love of Godhead. So this is precondition. So now Nārada Muni is that bhava stage. And Prabhupada is writing that these different stages of development of transcendental love. So in this way, Nārada Muni, now he is getting that, after seeing the Lord, he is getting that bhava stage immediately. So there are 8 kind of symptoms has been given in these things, like how you feel whenever you have a bhava stage. Everything has a symptoms. We cannot just artificially become bhava stage. So in these verses, purport Prabhupada has written that what kind of 8 symptoms there. So these 8 symptoms has been given here. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also felt that. Yes, the symptoms is there, namely inertness, perspiration, standing on the hair on the head, falling of the voice. This means faltering, trembling, paleness of the body, tears in the eyes, finally trance. This is given by Nectar of Devotion, summary study of it is stated here. All these symptoms will be described, very vividly described, the bhava stage. So here it is also Nārada Muni in bhava stage. Prabhupada has written purport that Nārada Muni is the bhava stage. And he is feeling that one. So in after seeing the Lord is in the heart, so what he is telling, the transcendental form of the Lord as it is, satisfy the mind, desire, at once erases all mental incongruities. Upon losing that form, I suddenly got up, being perturbed as usual, when one loses that which is desirable. So very beautiful verse this one. Rupa Bhagavata Yantan Manah Kantam Suchapaham. So here very important thing. Prabhupada said that Lord's forms is lamenting because he saw that for the fraction of second, immediately Lord, he was feeling very ecstatic. Immediately he lost it. Why he lost it? That is also very important. So Lord, first of all, think that Lord is not formless. Nārada Muni saw the form. So it is not formless. But when he lost his, and that form is so satisfying. So Lord form is so satisfying. One is see face to face or within the heart. It is so pleasure giving. It is stated by the Lord Shiva Rudra Gita. In Lord Shiva 4 canto is praying to the Lord, my Lord, I want to see you, your form, beautiful form. And that form he is describing. Darsanam na dukhanam dehi bhagavata chitam rupam priyatamam swanam sarva indriya gunanjanam. Once you see means all your mind senses will be satisfied. So in material world, we are trying to give the senses or mind something for satisfaction, but it is never satiated, never satiated. Even though this highest pleasure is sex pleasure, that also is not satisfied. Even after we give anything, not satisfied, because our senses, when we will see something transcendental things, that will give us real pleasure. Otherwise, the senses will not give the real pleasure. So it is therefore it is stated that 7:9:45 that Prahlad Maharaj telling, Yan Maithunadi Grihamadi Sukhamitu Kandunene Akaru Iba Dukha Dukha Tripyanti Neha Kirpana. The Kirpana, they are not satiated, even though the highest pleasure in this material world is sex life, but the Kirpana, they are not satisfied, because it will not give satisfaction to the satiation. Therefore, here it is stated that Lord Shiva is very nicely giving a very nice example that I want to see my Lord, my dear Lord, I used to see you exactly in the form of that your very dear devotees worship. You have many other forms, but I used to see your form that is especially liked by the devotee. Please be merciful upon me, show me that form. For only that form worshipped by the devotee can perfectly satisfy all the demands of the senses. Our demand always the sense, I wanted to see beautiful things. The nose wanted to smell beautiful things. The ear also wanted to. Every of our five senses wanted something, is demanding to satisfy. But it cannot be perfectly satisfied by any amount of material things. But by seeing the Lord, all the demand of the senses is satisfied. It's exactly same thing Nārada Muni here telling. Nārada Muni telling that all at once erases all material incongruity. See, everything, the transcendental form of the Lord, as it is satisfy the mind's desire, at once erases all mental incongruities. So how so beautiful Lord form is. So here Lord Shiva also wanted that one. And he also describing further, your form is so beautiful. The Lord's beauty resembles a dark cloud during the rainy season. As the rain falls, glistens, his bodily feature also glistens. Indeed, he is the sum total of all beauty. Wow, sum total of all beauty. The Lord has four arms and exquisitely beautiful faces with eyes like lotus petal, beautiful, highly raised nose, a mind attracting smile, beautiful forehead, equally beautifully decorated ears. So in this way, is describing this Lord's Lord's beautiful form. Lord is super excellently beautiful on account of his open and merciful smile, his sidelong glance upon his devotee, his black hair is curly, his garment waving in the wind appear like flying saffron pollen from the lotus flower, his glittering earrings, shining helmet, bangles, garland, ankle belts, waist belt, various other bodily ornaments combined with console, disc, club, lotus flower to increase natural beauty of Kaustubha pearl on his chest. See, this is the beautiful explanation. Of course, he is explaining here, Lord Shiva is referring to the Vishnu forms, Narayana form of the Lord. So he's telling how it is beautiful. The form is not some kind of imaginary. Lord Brahma saw the Krishna, so he's describing Venum Panantam Aravinda. Lord Shiva saw the beautiful form, he's describing his form. So it is all authorized form that we are worshipping. So here also it is stated here that how the Nārada Muni saw the form, and he was pretty much very happy, very satisfied to the mind. So there's a beautiful verses also. Let's see, not Darsanam, but it is a little different. It is say that, yeah. This is word. This is Darsanam anyway. Forget one. Gopis also, they are describing the form of the Lord so beautiful. So then I desire to see again the transcendental form of the Lord, but despite my attempt to concentrate upon the heart with eagerness to view the form again, I could not see him anymore. Thus dissatisfied, I was very much aggrieved. So he is very much aggrieved that I could not see. Because here it is understood that there is no mechanical process of seeing this one. We cannot mechanically see that. Some people demand, I want to see God. God cannot be seen by mechanical process. That is not important. This is the causeless mercy of the Lord. Lord can manifest according to his causeless mercy. We cannot demand the Lord to come before. So therefore, there is no mechanical process. How Lord is showering mercy? When Lord is pleased, he will manifest. If Lord is pleased to be present, causeless mercy, then we can see it. Therefore, we should await the opportunity moment. Therefore, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati says that do not desire to see Lord, but do something. Let the Lord desire to see us. That means do some wonderful, sincere activity, devotional activity. Lord will eager to see me. Who is this devotee who is so much sincere? He will come and do this. He will come and manifest before us. Just like Dhruva Maharaj. He came before us, Prahlad Maharaj. He came in front of him. He came. Just like Sabari. Sabari was every day waiting for when Lord Ram will come. And Lord Ram came. By dint of his activities, Lord Ram obliged to come to see him, see her. See? And he was doing so much service. His guru is called Matanga Rishi. When Matanga Rishi left the world and went to Vaikuntha, then he was very sad. He was telling, my dear spiritual master, great says, you are going and I am alone in the ashram. What can I do? But Matanga Rishi told that you have done a service to all the sages for so long. You will not go back to Vaikuntha. Why? Because Vaikuntha-pati will come to you. That is the important thing. When you serve the Lord, we go to Vaikuntha. We serve the devotee, Lord will come to us. When you serve the Lord, then we will approach to the Lord and go back to Godhead. But when we serve the great sages, the Lord will come. Ramchandra is coming to you, Sabari. So this is the thing that it's not a mechanical process. It's a output of our sincere devotional service out of causeless mercy. Lord pleases by our dint of devotional service. Then Lord will come. In Bhagavad Gita also Krishna says beautiful verses. Everybody knows these verses. These are beautiful verses. Krishna says that Bhaktya tu anannaya sakya aham evam vido arjuna gyantum drastum means see chatattena praveshtum cha parantapa. My dear Arjuna, only by undivided devotional service can I be understood as I am. Standing before you can thus be seen directly. You cannot see directly by mechanical process. Only in this way you can enter into the mystery of my understanding. So to see the Lord, you must have qualification. That is called undivided devotional service. Bhaktya tu ananyaya sakya, ananya bhakta. Yesterday we are speaking about chapter 9 called Ananya Bhakta, undivided devotional service. Confidential, most confidential knowledge. So if we develop that undivided devotional service, then we can see face to face. Lord will oblige to come by his causeless mercy. He wanted to come. So this is the thing. And seeing my attempt in that lonely place as the personality of Godhead who is transcendental to all mundane description spoke to me with gravity and pleasing word just to mitigate my grief. So Lord spoke to him that okay, if he disappeared, he was very anxiety. And Lord spoke that I regret that during this lifetime you will not able to see me anymore. Those who are incomplete in service, who are not completely free from all material taints can hardly see me. See, Lord is already giving this qualification to see him. Although he appeared for a split of second, for a moment in the heart to encourage Nārada Muni so that he will be hankering. Sometimes the poor people, he got so much riches and immediately the riches will be taken away. Oh, I got lottery and all the riches coming. Immediately he got a news. Next moment, this is a misinformation. Then he will be always hankering. You see how to get that. Similarly, this Nārada Muni, he is not qualified at that time because he is a son of maid servant. He started following this principle of bhakti. But to encourage him, Lord appeared so that he will be more and more hankering. And Lord said that, and he was confused. Why Lord disappeared? So Lord spoke to him that you are not qualification. Why? Because material infection is still there. You have not clear. So Prabhupada written that unless one is free from every tinge of material desire, material of infection, one cannot see the Lord. One cannot approach the Lord. That is not possible. That is not possible. So this is the thing the Nārada Muni telling, oh virtuous one, you have only one see my person. This is just to increase your desire for me, because the more you hanker for me, more you will be freed from all material desire. That is very, very important. This anxiety, the hankering is important. Material hankering and spiritual hankering is different. The hankering is there in spiritual and material. Material hankering means always after the money. Nunnam pramata kurute vikrama yadintriya priti apurnati. Hankering, mode of passion. I want more and more. This asura. But spiritual hankering also there. The gopis are always hankering when to see Lord. Mother Jasoda is always hankering. Krishna is taken food or not. Krishna is sleeping or not. Krishna is safe or not. Always hankering. That is spiritual hankering. That more you hanker, more you advance. That is the symptoms of the Lord. Whether I am hankering to hear, I am hankering to chant, I am hankering to see the Lord in the temple, I am hankering to engage in the service of the Lord, deity worship, I am hankering to associate with devotees, I am hankering to go to the holy places of the Lord. That hankering means is the symptoms of we are advancing. We have no hankering. Then what is that? That means I have no interest for the Lord. That hankering should be there. Without hankering, we cannot advance. So that is the Krishna is telling here, we must have hanker for the Laulyam ekara. What is that beautiful verses Rupa Goswami say that bhakti is what is that kriyata labhyate forget the first line. Kriyata labhyate laulyam ekam mulyam na labhyate koti srutipi. Means laulyam means the greediness, the hankering. That is only price you have to pay to get Krishna. Krishna, I remember. Krishna bhakti rasa bhavitamati. Krishna bhakti rasa bhavitamati. Kriyata kutapi labhyate. Krishna bhakti, this is the first word. Krishna bhakti rasa bhavitamati. That is very important. That because of this word, this line, Prabhupada has given Krishna consciousness. The word Krishna consciousness has come from this word. Krishna bhakti rasa bhavitamati. So our Krishna consciousness, mati means consciousness. Our consciousness towards Krishna, wherever it is available, you kriyata means you purchase it. And what is the price you have to pay? Laulyam, that greedy, that hankering, that is the price, nothing else. You cannot purchase the Krishna consciousness. Otherwise, you have that greed too. And Prabhupada has given a very nice example in this, and it cannot be acted by millions of pious bhai. You cannot get it. That is only laulyam. In this regard, there is a very nice story has been given that Prabhupada has given that one person in a village, one person was speaking about Srimad Bhagavatam, story of Krishna in Vrindavan. Vrindavan is the playground of the Lord. So Lord has enacted many pastimes. One thief was there. He was passing by and he was hearing, okay, let me little stay there. And in that, during his passing, he heard that he is telling one boy, a boy is there in Vrindavan. His mother used to wear him very nice ornaments. So this thief is a small kind of thief. He was stealing here and there a little bit of. So he thief that why I am unnecessarily wasting here. I should go to that places where the ornament is there. At once I will steal, small boy anyway, I will snatch and steal, then my life will be successful. No more stealing here and there. So he got that anxiety, hankering, greediness. So he went after the classes finished, then immediately catch hold of these preachers. He telling, you are now telling me. Then he immediately took out the what is called sword. And that, okay, you tell me, where is that place? Which place? Just now you speak about somebody having ornament that Krishna was person is Krishna name, child name is Krishna. He is his mother used to wear him this nice ornament. Where is that place? He told, this is a madman, or that place is Vrindavan. Then he was asking where I can get. You can go to Vrindavan forest. You can ask for a person called Krishna. Then you find out. That preacher has no faith. He is thinking that where this Vrindavan he will go, he will find out. He is telling about this Vrindavan pastime when Krishna enacted. This he has no belief, although he is speaking so many big things. So, but he has no belief. But this thief, he took it very seriously. He went to that place, Vrindavan. He was looking after Krishna. Krishna, where is that boy? Where is that boy? He found out one time. And he saw that Krishna is ornament. But after seeing that, slowly he associated. He thought that if I immediately take out all the ornament, it's not good. Slowly he befriended with Krishna. And then I will tell him about this ornament. I have come to take the ornament, I will take. But by his association, by seeing the Lord, he changed his mind. And when he revealed his mind that Krishna, I have come to take you, then Krishna told, take all the thing. He told, no, I do not want. Somehow his greediness, he found out Krishna. He found out that greediness, that hankering must be there. I want to go and find out Krishna. No hankering, no enthusiasm. Rupa Goswami says that first thing is enthusiasm. The Ussha Dharyat, Ussha Nishya Dharyat Nishchayat, Tat Karma Prabatanat, nectar of instruction. Six activities are favorable for devotional growth, progress. That Ussha is very important. Ussha means enthusiasm. That is the greed, hankering is there. So here also, Nārada Muni say that due to my hankering, so Lord is telling, more you hanker for me, more you will be freed from all material desire. By service of absolute truth, even for a few days, a devotee attains firm and fixed intelligence in me. Consequently, he goes and become my associate in the transcendental world after giving up the present deplorable material world. The very important word. Very short time Nārada Muni saw. Very short time Prahlad Maharaj also did bhakti. Very short time Khatavanga he attends. Very short time even Ajamil. Very short time, so many devotees for very short time they did the bhakti and they have got it. Parikshit Maharaj for 7 days he attended. Solpam apyasya dharmasya trayate mona. Even little bit of very short time we will get. So devotional service render is never goes in vain. That is stated in this another verses also. This is Canto 8, I think. I'll check. This is stated that devotional service for little bit of time also is never. Sorry, 548, I think. Yes, activities dedicated to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, even if performed in small measure, never go in vain. Supreme Personality of Godhead, being the Supreme Father, is naturally very dear and always ready to act for the good of the living entity. Very beautiful verses. Remember these verses. Beautiful verses. So the same thing happened for Nārada Muni. So Krishna says that a little bit of service to absolute truth, for a few days also we can get perfection. Intelligence engaged in my devotion cannot be thwarted at any time, even at the time of creation as well as at the time of annihilation. Your remembrance will continue by my mercy. See, Lord is saying that He will never forget. Your forgetfulness can never be lost. Krishna say also, Salpam apyasya trayata mahatabhayat. Little bit of service will never destroy it. Spirituality never destroy. It is stated in these other verses also. This is a beautiful verses. It is stated here that, O King, one who accepts this process of devotional service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead will never blunder on this path in this world. Even while running with eyes closed, will never trip or fall. That is the potency of devotional. He never destroyed, never fail. It will always remember. He will always, even little bit of also. Even it is stated that somebody fall down also, he will never lose the taste. My dear Vyasa, even though a devotee of Lord Krishna sometimes falls down somehow and other, he certainly does not undergo material existence like other footy workers. Because a person who has once released the taste of lotus feet of the Lord can do nothing but remember that ecstasy again and again. They are beautiful verses, fitting verses. Exactly. So this is the thing that Lord is saying same thing. He will continue by my mercy. Because Lord is so obliged. Little service also he take it as a very high. This is also spoken by the, these verses are actually somehow coming out now. It is spoken by who? Is spoken by the Sudama. Sudama is speaking these beautiful verses. Lord consider even his greatest benediction to be insignificant, while he magnifies even a small service rendered to him by his well-wishing devotee. Thus, with pleasure, the Supreme Soul accepted a single palm full of flat rice I brought to him. See, this is spoken by Sudama, how he brought to a little bit of palm full of flat rice, but in return, Lord has given so many opulences, so many benediction to him. So this is the thing Lord is also telling here. He will continue to remember me. Then the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Supreme Authority, then that Supreme Authority personified by sound and unseen by eyes, but most wonderful, stopped speaking, feeling a sense of gratitude. I offer my obeisance unto him, bowing my head. So he stopped speaking. Lord spoke this one unseen, a sound vibration came, sound has come, and then he stopped speaking. Then Nārada Muni bowed down his head. Nama, namami, namami anantasya hatatrapa pathang guhami bhadrani kirtani chasmaran. So here it is said that thus I began chanting the holy name and fame of the Lord by repeated recitation, ignoring all the formalities of material world. Such chanting, remembering of the transcendental pastime of the Lord are benedictory. So doing, I traveled all over the earth, fully satisfied, humble and unenvious. See, this is the process he is telling. So how beautiful process. So Krishna also, if we say that where is Krishna, Krishna did not appear. Yes, Krishna appeared through the spiritual master Prabhupada. He appeared for us through the spiritual master. So we have a feeling of Krishna because we have learned the process from spiritual master. So here Nārada Muni telling that what he did. So this is life of a sincere devotee of the Lord is explained in nutshell in these beautiful verses. What is the life of the devotee? Prabhupada has written this purport. Life of sincere devotee of the Lord is thus explained in a nutshell by Nārada Muni by his personal example. Very, very important for all the devotee. Such a devotee, after his initiation by the Lord or his bona fide representative, takes very seriously the chanting of the glories of the Lord and traveling all over the world so that others may also hear the glories of the Lord. Such devotee have no desire for material gain. Thus they conducted by one single desire to go back to Godhead. This awaits them in due course on quitting the material body because they have the highest aim of life, going back to Godhead. They are never envious of anyone, nor they proud of being eligible to go back to Godhead. Their only business is to chant and remember the holy name, fame, pastime of the Lord, according to the personal capacity to distribute the message for others, welfare without motive of material gain. Beautiful. Beautiful purport by Srila Prabhupada. That's why he told, my purport is not written by me. It's written by Krishna himself. And this is my ecstasy. So this is a beautiful thing is given that how a sincere devotee conduct his spiritual life. So once we take, first of all, you must take the initiation from a bona fide representative. After taking that, we should chant the glories, whatever you have heard. And in another places also in Chaitanya Charitamrita. So whatever you have heard, you should repeat it. That is called Sravanam Kirtanam Hari Vishnu. So Sravanam means you hear from spiritual master. Then you should repeat. No more interpretation, misinterpretation, or manufacturing, or concocting. Repeat this as it is. And he traveling all over the world. Why? To give an opportunity for others to hear. So therefore, a devotee must initiate, hear, and also glorify the Lord and preach to others, either by traveling. Nowadays, this traveling is not possible. Money, everything is needed. You can stay. Nowadays, technology has come. we can reach out to many devotees by the technological things, by online courses and all, classes and all. And why, if one is doing with the intention of not material gain, no desire of material gain, only to go back to Godhead, in due course of time, he is also non-envious. He is not envious that who is coming, who is not coming. Everybody is allowed. So he is not envious. And in this way, while quitting the body, he will go back to Godhead. And he is not also proud of eligible to back to. He will go back to Godhead with humility, with this aim of life, with this activities, he can go back to Godhead. That is this sincere devotee, life of a sincere devotee. Prabhupada is given. And so the Brahmana Vyāsadeva, in due course of time, I, who was fully absorbed in thinking of Krishna, who therefore had no attachment, being completely freed from all material trains, met with death as a lightning and illumination occurs simultaneously. So in this, doing all these things, a devotee should do like Nārada Muni, preach, initiated, learn and preach for the welfare of others. And death will come in due course of time. So death will come, and once death will come, what will happen? Having been awarded a transcendental body befitting an associated personality of Godhead, I quit the body made up of 5 material elements. Thus, all acquired fruitive result of work stopped. See, immediately he quitting the body, get the spiritual body going back to Godhead. He received the spiritual body. And all the fruitive activities are stopped. Because why we are transmigrating from one body to another body? Because of fruitive activity, we have desire. But the desire, the karmic reaction can be absolved by devotional service, Krishna consciousness. Brahma Samhita also say that Indra to Indra Gopam, everybody is having problem. Brahma Bhuvanala Loko Punar Abartina Arduna, because of desire. So here say, yes, to Indra Gopam Athavendra Swakarma Bandhana Rupa Phalabhajanam Atanoti Karmani Nirdhati Kintu Cha Bhakti Bhajam Govindamadi Purusam Tamaham Bhajami Karmani Nirdhati Kintu Cha Bhakti Bhajam. So here it is said that from Indra Gopo to Indra Gopo means small. Indra Gopo means to the small red insect called Indra Gopo. From Indra to Indra Gopa, everybody is bound by fruitive activities, karma. Therefore, they are transmigrating from one body to another body. But that can be stopped. Karmani niddhati kintu bhakti bhajam, once we engage in the devotional activity. So here Nārada Muni also saying that all my fruitive activity is gone because by dint of my devotional service to the Lord, all this stopped. Otherwise, you cannot stop your fruitive activities by any other process. Keschit kevalaya bhaktya, by devotional service, you can stop all the fruitive activities. Karma can be stopped. All the karma can be. Sarva dharman parityāja mam ekam saranam bhaja. Ham tvam sarva papebhyo mokhyasami. All the reactory activities, reaction, so everything will be stopped, absorbed, reset, redeemed by the process of bhakti. So here also Nārada Muni is saying, yes, it is absolved. Why? Due to this one, due to this process of, due to process my devotional service, I received the spiritual body. Therefore, therefore it is stated that for devotee, death means you are sleeping, you wake up with spiritual body. Prabhupada used to say. For devotee, sleeping, death means you are sleeping in this body, material body, and when you wake up in spiritual body, in Vaikuntha. At the end of the millennium, when personality of Godhead, Narayana lay down in the water of devastation, Brahma began to enter into him along with the creative element. I also entered through his breathing. So this is very important. He immediately not become Nārada Muni. Because one kalpa has to finish, next kalpa he become Nārada Muni. Next kalpa means the 12 hours of the Brahma. 12 hours of the Brahma, Lord goes to sleep. And he goes to sleep how? He goes to sleep the Narayana, body of Narayana. He entered through his breathing process. He entered again. Lord breathing process, so many universes are coming up, Brahma also coming up. So while breathing, inhaling, exhaling process, again inhaling process, everything will come out again inside the Lord. Again, next day when morning of Brahma, everything will be against created. Created means manifested, not created, manifested. So in this kalpa, along with Brahma, Nārada Muni also entered. But the next kalpa, when 12 hours of 12 night is over of Brahma, then again he came out as a spiritual body as a Nārada Muni. Prabhupada written, this means that Nārada appears in the same transcendental body, just as the man awakes from the sleep in the same body. The Nārada Muni eternally free to move in all part of transcendental material creation, Almighty. He appears, disappears in his own transcendental body, which is without distinction of body and soul, unlike conditioned being. Since they by the grace of, what the time we'll see. Since then by the grace of the Almighty Vishnu, I travel everywhere without restriction, both the transcendental world and in the three division of the material world. This is because I am fixed in unbroken devotional service. So he has become a liberated spaceman. He is moving everywhere. No more restriction for him. Moving everywhere and traveling everywhere and singing the glories of the Lord. Three world, all transcendental, three world, everywhere without any restriction. He is empowered. And thus I travel constantly singing the transcendental message of the glories of the Lord, vibrating the instrument called Veena, which is charged with transcendental sound, which was given to me by Lord Krishna. So Krishna has given Veena to the Nārada Muni. So he received the spiritual body and end of previous kalpa. I entered the Lord's body with Brahma, and when Brahma woke up, I appeared. And musical string instrument called Veena, which was headed to Nārada Muni by Lord Krishna, is described in this Linga Purana. This is confirmed by Sri Jiva Goswami also. This transcendental instrument is identical with Lord Krishna. Nārada, because all of them are of same transcendental category, sound vibrated by the instrument cannot be material. Therefore, the glories and pastime which are broadcast by the instrument of Nārada are also transcendental, without tinge of material impurity. The seven singing meters, Sa, Re, Ga, Ma, Pa. Sa means Sadhya, Rishava, Gandhara, Madhyama, Pa, Panchama, Dhaivata, Ni, Nisada are also transcendental and specially meant for transcendental song. See, nowadays they are using for the Bollywood song, but actually it is meant for transcendental song. Everything comes from the Lord. Na? As a pure devotee of the Lord, see Nārada, they are always fulfilling his obligation to the Lord for his gift of instrument. Thus, he is always engaged in singing his transcendental glories and therefore infallible in his exalted position. Following the footstep of Sri Nārada Muni, a self-realized soul in the material world should also properly use the sound meter, namely Sa, Re, Ga, Ma, etc., in the service of the Lord by constantly singing the glories of the Lord as confirmed in Bhagavad Gita. So this Bollywood are all misusing the Saregama. But here real use of Saregama means devotee. A devotee will never use for other than Krishna. They will use only for the sake of the Krishna. There will be so many verses are there. A tongue means it has to be used for the singing the glories of the Lord. That is also stated by Mukunda Mala, beautiful verses. It is not there in Vedavyas, I think. Mukunda Mala, beautiful verses. Yesterday I was in Facebook also I have posted that how the tongue, the perfection of tongue means to chant the glories of the Lord. So this way Nārada Muni is using the instrument given by the Lord in the service of the Lord by glorifying the Lord. So we also follow. We also, our speech, tongue has been given. Tongue should be used for the glorifying the Lord. Otherwise, it's like a frog tongue. The Bhagavatam says that what is called frog tongue? Frog is croaking in a rainy season in India. He's croaking. His sound is what sound means? His sound croaking is inviting death, because snake, he knows snake will come to know, oh, here is a frog, I should go and eat him. So he is inviting death by croaking sound. So those sound who is not describing the glories of the Lord is like a croaking sound of frog tongue. Same thing, the ear which is not engaged to hear the transcendent Bhagavatam, That year is snake year. Why snake year? Because snake hole. Snake hole, nobody likes to put his hand. It's like empty. Nobody likes to do anything. Because it's full of rubbish. So when we are not using our ear for hearing Bhagavatam or Bhagavad Gita, that means our ear is compared to a snake hole, which is useless, empty, full of rubbish. That is stated in this beautiful verses Bhagavatam. It is not concocted. Bhagavatam says that, this one. 2, 3, 20, the beautiful verses. Prabhupada explained very nicely this verse actually. One who has not listened to the message about the prowess and marvelous act of personality of Godhead, has not sung or chanted loudly the worthy song about the Lord, is to be considered the possessed the ear holes like a holes of snakes and tongue like a tongue of frog. So ears like snake holes. Snake holes is very bad. Nobody goes there. In India, we have seen so many snake holes in the field. Nobody put the hand, put the leg, nobody goes inside. Similarly, our ears are full of like snake holes, useless, empty, if we do not hear about transcendental message. Tongue also like a frog tongue, because it's inviting death, inviting snake that I am this place, please come and eat. This is the thing. So here, very nice thing, Nārada Muni say that I am using that Veena for glorifying the Lord himself. The Supreme Lord Krishna, whose glories, activities are pleasing to ear, at once appear on the seat of my heart, as if called for, as soon as I begin to chant his activities. So beautiful verse, power of chanting. So that is the power of chanting. Lord immediately comes as soon as we chant the glories. As Rupa Goswami said, Lord comes, appear in the heart. And so many verses are there. So let's go to one verses here. Nama Chintamani Krishna Sa Chaitanya Rasa Vigraha Purna Suddha Nitya Mukta Vinutta Nama Namina. So the holy name of Krishna is transcendently blissful. It bestows all spiritual benediction. For it is Krishna himself, the reservoir of all pleasure. Krishna name is complete. It is the form of all transcendental melody. It is not a material name under any condition. It is no less powerful than Krishna himself. Since Krishna name is not contaminated by the material quality, there is no question of being involved with Maya. Krishna name is always liberated. Spiritual is never conditioned by laws of material nature. This is because the name of Krishna, Krishna himself is identical. So when you chant the Krishna, it gives so much pleasure. It's like a festival to the mind. It is said that if you chant and hear the name of Krishna, it's like a festival of mind. These are beautiful verses. The word describing the glories of all famous personality of Godhead are attractive, realizable, ever fresh. Indeed, such words are perpetual festival for the mind. They dry up ocean of misery. So this is the chanting is so powerful. It is so powerful. And Lord immediately respond that chanting. I forget this verse. Lord say, whosoever chanted, I think 11:4:55 or 11:3:55. A beautiful verses is there. No, there's some verses I forget, but it is stated here that by chanting one can easily at once appears on my heart. Krishna also say that Susrivi Kitrivi Tatakshana. Ishvara Sarvahudayasi. Ishvara means Krishna will immediately appear as soon as you hear and chant his glories. This is the second verses of Bhagavatam. Second verses of Bhagavatam say that Dharma Projita Kaitava Atra Param Nirmas Saranam Satam Vedyam Vastamam Atra Vastu Sivadam Tarputo Emulanam Srimad Bhagavata Mahamani Kirte Kimba Ishwar Pare Sadda Hude se Avarudyate Tatra Kirtibi Susrivi. Avarudyate means immediately appears, compacted in the heart as soon as you hear and chant the glories of the Lord. That is the benefit of chanting the glories of the Lord. Chanting, hearing, remembering the name, fame, etc. Then it is personally experienced by me that those who are always full of cares and anxiety due to desiring contact of sense with their object can cross the ocean of nations on a most suitable boat. The constant chanting of the transcendental activities of the personality of Godhead. Says Hari Katha is the most suitable boat to cross the material ocean. Material ocean. This is so many things have been given. This is also spoken by the Sukadev Goswami. What is that? When Parikshit Maharaj is asking in Kali Yuga how we can get out, Kale dosanidhirajan asti eka mahatguna kirtanadeva krishnasya mukta sangha param jayat. My dear king, although Kali Yuga is an ocean of fault, there is still one good quality about this age. Simply by chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra, one can become free from material bondage, be promoted to transcendental kingdom. Last verse of Bhagavatam. So many verses are there. We have no time. Otherwise, why not coming? Nama Sankritana Jasya Sarva Papa Pranasanam from Nama Dukkha Samanatam Namami Harim Param. I offer my respectful obeisance unto the Supreme Personality of Lord Hari. The congregational chanting of the whose holy name destroys all sinful reaction, and offering of the obeisance unto whom relieves all material suffering. See, same thing Nārada Muni telling. There is the other, in particular in age of Kali, it is stated here very nicely that, my dear Lord, those pious and saintly person who in the age of Kali hear about your transcendental activities and glorify them will easily cross over the darkness of the age. See, the Kali Yuga method is simply hearing and chanting, glorifying. That is the process of easily cross. Easily cross. Mahaprabhu also say same thing. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also same thing say. Krishna mantra hoite hobe sansara mosana, Krishna nama hoite pave Krishnera charana. Simply by chanting the holy name of Krishna, one can obtain freedom from material existence. Indeed, simply by chanting the Hare Krishna mantra, one will be able to see the lotus feet of the Lord. So this is the main thing is in Kali Yuga, particularly Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Namo bina Kali Kale nahi yara dharma, sarva mantra sara nama ei shastra marma. In this age of Kali, there is no religious principle other than chanting the holy name, which is the essence of all Vedic hymns. This is the purport of all scriptures. So Nārada Muni also saying the same thing. I personally experienced when I am chanting, constant chanting, Kirtaniya Sadahari, constant chanting the transcendental activities. Chanting is two types. One glorifying the Lord, one japa Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. One is Kirtaniya, means also Kirtaniya iti Kirtana. Kirtana also means Kirtati iti Kirtana. Means glorifying, like glorifying the Lord activities, Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam. Same thing, chanting and hearing Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita. That is also Kirtana. It is true that by practicing restraint of the senses by yoga system, one can get relief from the disturbances of the desire and lust. But this is not sufficient to give satisfaction to the soul. For this satisfaction is derived from devotional service to the personality of. See, it is here stated that the supremacy of the devotional service as compared to other things. See, yoga means what? Controlling these senses. Yoga, indriya samyam. So mystic process, exercise, bodily exercise, thinking, feeling, willing, concentrating, meditating, etc. and merge into transcendence. So in this process, one has to control the senses. But it is very difficult. Physical exercises, by physical exercises, one has to do Ashtanga Yoga. But this become artificially and also very arduous, very difficult, because senses are very, very strong. So this best way has been described that devotional service. Why? Because that process we have already seen, like Vishwamitra Muni. He heard about the ankle bell of Urvasi. He fell down. Such a great sages. On the other hand, our Haridas Thakur, he was chanting when prostitute came. Not only came, he was sitting in front of him. He talked with him, you sit in front of me, let me finish my round. He was chanting 190 round, 92 round. Then he chanted whole round, then it became day. Then he told that prostitute, you come next day. Actually, prostitute is a Maya to test this Haridas Thakur. Next day also same thing happened. So how he is not bewildered by that? He did not fall down. Therefore, the process of concentrating the mind on the Lord is by process of devotional service, hearing and chanting. If our mind is engaged in Manmana Bhava, always chanting and glory, this is the best process of engaging our, devotional service and derive the greatest pleasure. All other methods are not successful way to do that. Therefore, the beautiful verses it is stated Yesterday we are discussing about the same thing. There's so many verses, but one verses I will show you. Nārada Muni spoke these verses to Prachetas. Transcendental practice that do not ultimately help one realize the Supreme Personality of Godhead are useless. Be the mystic yoga practice or analytical study of matter, severe austerity, acceptance of sannyas, or study of Vedic literature. All these may be very important aspect of spiritual advancement, but unless one understands the Supreme Personality of God Hari, all these poses are useless. So this is useless. Because that will not, although it will help to spiritual advancement, but it will not give you success. Success is to understand the Krishna. How understand? Maktya mama vijananti javanjacha samita tattva. Tattva mam tattva gantva visatita anantaram. So by process of bhakti, bhaktitva anannaya sakya, evam evavidya Arjuna, 1154, 855. Yatha Bhaktir Mamojjita, 11, 14, 20, 21. So many verses, just name it. Only by bhakti. No other process is not successful. And the pleasure we derive, this pleasure is very, very highest pleasure actually. Highest pleasure. And it is a successful method. So this is the end of our chapter, how we learn that the process of devotional service is summing up by Nārada Muni. The whole idea that without devotional service of the Lord, nothing can be done. So everything is subordinate to the process of things. So here, whole idea is that everything is given by the Nārada Muni. So Nārada Muni is giving a very nice personal example that how we can freed from all these sins and go back to Godhead. So this is the process has been given to Nārada Muni, that how he initiated by spiritual master, and he took the remnant of prasadam, hear from them. After hearing from them, then all of a sudden, some circumstantial, his mother died, and he was completely dependent on the mercy of Krishna. He thought that this is the mercy of Krishna in disguise, and he was concerned. He went, traveled, he left home, traveled everywhere, just like a sannyasi is traveling. And then he was sitting down, meditating on the super soul. The Lord appeared for the fraction of second. He was so pleased. He purified by seeing the Lord, and Lord disappeared. He was hankering to see the Lord. Where he went, then a sound came that you are not fit now. You are not eligible for that. You have so many taints. Now you keep on practicing. You hanker to see me more and more by practicing devotional service, whatever you have learned from the liberated soul. Then he trying to practice all this devotional service, hearing, chanting the glories of the Lord constantly. And he is doing that and traveling everywhere in this way. Then at the time of death, he went to the, in next Kalpa, he became a Nārada Muni. And when he became Nārada Muni, he got the Bina instrument from the Lord, and he was chanting with the instrument and the Bina. He was chanting the glories of the Lord everywhere. He was chanting the glories of the Lord everywhere and delivering whole world. So this is the process of a devotee. Devotee must initiate, hear from the spiritual master sincerely, attentively, scrutinizingly, then chant his glories, so that others also will get the opportunity. In this way, without any personal desire, enviousness, he should execute this service. At the end of the life, he will come back to me. That was whole purport of this chapter. So thank you very much. If you have any question, anything, we can see any chat question. Brahma's entering the Nārada. I thought everything entered into Mahavishnu body after complete alienation. Yes, that is a complete annihilation where the Yoga Nidra, Garbhodakasaya, Vishnu gone. There are two kinds of annihilation is there. Partial annihilation and one is full annihilation. Partial annihilation is there when the Brahma went for the sleep for 12 hours, night. So that time he went inside the Nārayana. When the complete annihilation comes and everything become totally devastated. But Brahma 100 days died. Here Brahma is not dying. He's sleeping for 12 hours. Again wake up. So here it is dying. Brahma dead. And again Brahma will come out. So during this Brahma dies, where it is 411 trillion and 30 billion years, that time everything goes inside the Garbhodakasaya Vishnu. yoga nidra. So that is the two kind of annihilations. So this is the thing. So if we have no questions, so we will stay there. We will stop here. Next week we will continue the beautiful cantos. Consequently, cantos are very nice. Thank
Hare
you.
Krishna, Prabhu.
Yes, yes.
Prabhu, this Vedas, what Vyāsadeva has written Vedas, the Mayavadis, they refer Shankaracharya Vedas, the Bhasya, what is that? It's not
Shariraka Vyasa.
Sharirika Vyas, yeah, Bhasya. So Mayavadis don't refer Ved Vyasa Vedas, right? Yeah,
No.
Vedas written by Ved Vyas.
Yes. They refer the Sharirika Vyasa because this is the commentary on Vedanta Sutra by Shankaracharya. Of course, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said that Shankaracharya is not a fault. He is executing the order of his spiritual Lord. Lord ordered him to go and bewilder, Kali Yuga, bewilder this. Yeah. So he was injected this impersonalism.
So
That is another subject matter, is how the Shankaracharya's role in our things,
so, but the the Vedas are only originally written by Veda Vyasa.
Yeah, original written, but commentary. Vedas have given, commentary has been given. Na? So the same, based on the same Vedavasa commentary, but the commentary is given in an impersonal way. Mayavadi philosophy. So injected the Mayavadi philosophy derived from the Vedanta. But Srimad Bhagavatam is also commentary on Vedanta Sutra, same Veda, but it is not Mayavadi, it is a Vaishnava philosophy, the personality, transcendental activities of the Lord. So that is the difference, how you interpret the Lord. So it was misinterpreted as the Mayavadi philosophies.
So one more thing, this ear holes, what I was reading somewhere, that snakes, actually the ear holes are useless. Actually, they don't hear anything. They hear by vibration. They come to know frog by vibration only. So
Yeah, that is the second year. Frogs of tongue. Frogs of tongue means because the snake ear, he cannot hear, only by sound. So the frog uselessly croak to invite the death, because snake will come by the sound. But snake holes is different. Snake holes is hearing process. Our hearing, if we are not hearing Krishna Katha, is compared to a snake hole. What is snake hole? Just like in a field, there is a snake hole. Nobody put his hand. It is empty. Nobody goes near. It's like empty rubbish full up. Nobody goes, no, useless. So that therefore the ear is useless when it is not engaged in the Krishna service. It's like a snake hole.
Okay.
Snake hole and snake ear hole is different. It's a snake hole. The Shastra says snake hole.
Okay. Prabhu.
That is the difference. Snake hole and frog top. This is a very good example, actually.
Yes, Prabhu. I have WhatsApp you yesterday, day before yesterday.
I will check it because a little busy for 1-2 days.
know.
So I will tomorrow I will reply.
Okay.
So
Prabhu.
thank you very much, everybody. Really, I am very much obliged to everybody coming and hearing. What a
Thank you very
always
much
said.
for a wonderful class, Prabhu.
No problem, Dimitri Prabhu. Really very good. Actually, I'm giving you all the notes, and in subsequent classes and all, I request all Dimitri Prabhu, all Sami Prabhu, all they should take the classes. Even Sandeep Patil Prabhu, they should take the classes, subsequent classes. So this is the whole idea that everybody come like as per the Nārada Muni instruction. We are all hearing from Prabhupada only, everything from Prabhupada purport only. So we hear and discuss, as Prabhupada say that the best process that you should discuss among the God brother. By discussing, we develop our knowledge. I also gain knowledge. In this way, when we try to also preach to others also. In this way, by preaching to others, we will also, purify ourselves. The whole idea is that. So thank you so much for coming. In this way, we develop our discussion, whatever little way. Prabhupada say that whatever according to capacity, we should follow the Nārada Muni instruction of hearing and chanting the glories of the Lord. In this way, we will have potential chances, despite our shortcoming, we have a potential chances of going back to Godhead. That's all. This is our motto. Otherwise, nothing belongs to all. All we are discussing about Prabhupada only. Anything spoken nice, it belongs to the Prabhupada and all these senior devotees we have had. What is, if we are speaking something maybe wrong, it is our mistake, because we are not coming up to that expectation. No, we are not so much that expectation to pay. So it is all the mercy of this Prabhupada we are discussing. So thank you so much. We hope we will continue that and we'll invoke the mercy of the Prabhupada and Lord Krishna. Thank you so much. Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhu. Jai Shri Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna, Jai
Jai Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Granthara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.
Jai.